I I wanted to go over a possible trade that I noticed. I was at the chart yesterday, so I did not take the trade. But anyways, here's the daily to get an idea where we are in price. Price is moving sideways, not going too deep into this price action. Going straight to the 1 hour. So of my previous recording, price was printing this candle, and I mentioned that I thought price was going to this low, to these body lows, but as you can see, price reacted from this breaker because we have this high, we have this lower low and this higher high. So there was no lower high printed to go lower. Instead, it broke this high with considerable speed. And there's also this fair value gap inside this breaker, so this makes it all a high probability condition. As you can see, price was respecting it and moved away from it. Anyway, but what I noticed was there was equal highs created on London. So let's look at that at the 1 minute. I'm gonna remove some price action. Where was it? London equal highs, so remove to here. Okay, so just can go to. This is what you would have seen when you would open the chart just before London. Price was reacting to those area I just mentioned, and price just went higher, not in a very convincing way. So I wouldn't trade anything in here. So Asia high gets rated, price was done creating equal highs, and then price reversed right to take out this phantom trend line liquidity. So also if you move this low, because it's the lowest low, to the equal highs, right? So then you could also see it's a very nice, let me do something like this, better to see. You can see what a nice dealing rate this was. Price was reacting on the 50% perfectly. It reacted on the 75% level, and also here, and there was some price action at the 25%, 75% level. So we can see in this area right here, we see lots of sell side liquidity, right? All these lows waiting to get taken, and obviously all the lows right here, right? This phantom trend line I just mentioned. So what did price? It created equal highs. So creating equal highs like this is for me a reason to look for longs. Why do I want to look for longs? Well, I'm gonna measure the lag, like I did here, and then I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm sorry, I'm gonna measure the lag, and I want to know where 50% is. Well, that's obviously this feather red line in here. And then what I see is all this liquidity. So in this case, it is liquidity. Sometimes, other times, it could also be a fair value gap. But I like liquidity more. And then I'm just going to sit and watch. So I noticed price creates equal highs. Yes, price did take the low right here and reacted for it. But it's also on the 50%, and also is London close is almost over. So the move of London, the role of London was to create this move. So I'm not going to participate in London anymore. I just want to wait. Like I said, because it's the end of a session and I don't like to trade a half an hour or whatever, 3/4, 50, 45 minutes before an action closes. So I'm going to wait, and then this happens. Like I mentioned yesterday also, is a manipulation lag, and it consists of all bearish candles, so it's a lag of the same color, taking out all this liquidity and going below 50% and tapping into the 75% level. Then price reacts to this area right here, and this area is also important because it took out liquidity. It took out this low, and also this low right there. And after it took the liquidity, it displaced away. with leaving behind a fair value gap and obviously also a order block. So an order block that takes liquidity and creates a fair value gap, that's a high probability fair value gap, and high probability order block, sorry, and that order block is resting at the 75% level. So price reacts from it. I still do nothing, still sitting on my hands. Price takes out the lows, reacts on the 75% level, also this high probability order block, and then displaces away. So here, nothing spectacular yet, because it could also retest this low right here and then trade lower, but instead it displaces higher right here. So at this moment, this is for me enough, because what we have here is a change in state of delivery right there. This is also an order block, because also price is trading into this fair value gap, and then we print big candles away from it. So I would take the long right there. Stop loss goes something there. Like I said yesterday, I don't target the very high. I like to target the bodies or the rejection block somewhere. So this would probably kind of somehow be my trade. For a 1 to 7, I'm perfectly fine with that. And then I would hit my TP here. Yes, it's during lunch, so you have to choose whether you do it or not. But this fits lots of my criteria, because we have equal highs. There is sell side liquidity is taken. You have a displacement from dealing range level, and also we are in discount of higher time frame. So what I mean with that is, if you go to the 1 hour and you would measure where we are in price, so let's hold this only on the 1 minute. So the current leg, I entered somewhere in here, right? So at that moment, the current leg is this high to this low, and make that blue. So let's now go back to the 1 minute. There we are. Let's move this out of the way. So blue is the dealing range from Asia high to the lowest point of the day. I'm going to remove the red line now for clarity. And as you can see, price also came below 50% in the high time frame level, and this is where I entered my trade. So price reacted from a discount, and I just entered at 50%. But I think for me that's all right to do, because all this happens in a premium, in a discount, sorry. So that's also a nice confluence that we have. And we have a price to liquidity with what I called a liquidity lag, same color, so lag of same color. So in this case, only black candles took out all this liquidity. It happens strong, it happens fast, and then it reacts from it. So this is a typical turtle soup trade. And you could also argue reacting from a high time frame PDRA, which was the value gap plus order block. Right, so if we go back to the 1 hour, right here, I'm referring to this portion, but the breaker, I'm sorry, it's not a, yeah, you can consider it as an order block, but the breaker is more like a break. That's what I meant. So those are very nice confluences. This is there so that for me this would make it a valid trade. I've got all the elements in play. The equal highs, which are the most important part. I got this is a nice confluence. We tapped into the 1-hour PD array. We got a strong reaction from it. We have a change in the state of delivery, so that we can also add that. 1 minute CSD. We're respecting order flow is respecting. Oh, let's do this. Let's just be fun to see. If we take this low to this high. Yeah. Okay. So this order block, this Favre gap is at the 50%, not obviously. And we have also, I noticed just now, we have a break structure with a high, right? So you can see that right here. So there are enough confluences to take it right. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.